Hi everyone, in today's episode, learn with me on how to embroider onto one of our cubbies. Unlike many of our embroidery buddies where you embroider on the belly, we will be embroidering on the ears. You won't see the backing because there are some nifty zippers where you can hoop it and embroider on it. And we already marked the center with a circle. As you can see, we measured the center side to side and from top to top. We also did this on the other side as well. We also find it easier to embroider your designs out first in order to see how they are going to look on there. So the plan is that I'm going to have the sunflower on the left ear, and on the other ear is going to be a text that will say, "You are my sunshine." This will be an adorable gift that you can give a child, or you can keep it for yourself as well. We have a 15mm hoop, a centimeter hoop that we are going to use to embroider the designs on the ears of the elephant. And we also have a clamp to hold the trunk, which prevents getting in the way. We then will use the shear stitch and rib stitch, which you will sandwich it with a little bit of spray adhesive. A little goes a long way when it comes to these. You want to make sure that they are made for embroiderers and they are not going to stain and they're not going to build up glue and things like that. So the ODIF 505, as I have here, is a great product to use, which you can find on AllStitch.com. To sandwich both stitches, I take a cardboard box that has protective sides and not being near your machine. Spray it lightly, and that's all you need, just enough to hold the shear stitch on top when you are trying to hoop it. This gives it a nice little sandwich. The Embroidery Buddies fabric is not very stable, so it is important to use a cutaway backing. Also, putting a tearaway at the bottom is also very helpful, and we have a 15, so it is a 1.5 ounce. Our Big Shot from Albachem cleans your rotary hook area really well, which you can find on allstitch.com. This cleaner also cleans out your bobbin cases, so say you are changing your bobbin case, a little bit of air is going to be loaded right out. Same thing up in here. The bobbins we are using is the AllStitch SLW. So these are the Sideless L-style white bobbins, which is a quite popular bobbin. We will then drop the bobbin and spin it clockwise, then go under the flap, do a little visual test, and then we will input the bobbin in the Towa digital bobbin case and the top thread bobbin gouge, which tests the digital tension. Some people like 25 to 30. We like more close to 50. So let us test to see where it is now. It is not very high. We need to do two things. First, we need to take the bobbin out and run that air a little bit more, making sure nothing is in there. Second, you want a folded up post-it which kind of equals cardstock and the thickness of it. Slide that under there, making sure there is no lint hiding up underneath that flap. Put the bobbin back into the case, spin right, and it is very important to check your bobbins before you check the top tension. We will test the tension again, double checking, making sure there is no lint in there or something dragging. Lint can either make it loose or tight. As you can see, the tension is a lot higher where we want it to be by just cleaning the bobbin case. Next, we are going to be lubricating with our Zoom Spell. This is your white machine oil that you would use on a regular basis up inside your rotary cut area. Place a drop in there and also at the top. This bottle has a handy place to put your cap as well. And as we went over, we set up our top tension, and today we'll be using poly neon thread for our design. Then we input the bobbin case and then cutting off the excess thread. We have the stitches we sandwiched together where we already set the hoop tension with. As a topping, we are using Solvy, which is a 20 micron thick water-soluble topping. We already cut a piece the size of the hoop, and looking, we might need to trim that down a little bit more. From experience, when hooping the elephant, the trunk gets in the way. So using the plastic clamp I showed earlier to hold the trunk, making sure the clamp has little tips on it, because that is what protects the elephant. We are clamping his trunk to his leg for this side, and once I do this ear, I'll move the trunk over. But this helps give you all the room to embroider what you need without distraction. So we have already preset the hoop, but for hooping or anything, it is essential to set the tightness. The fabric of the elephant is thick in a way that you have to avoid the zippers and the extra material out there, and then it won't be as thick. So we have preset the tension screw on this, so we are ready to go. But definitely play around with the tension until you make sure it doesn't fall apart or pop off while you are in the middle of the process, because it will not line up again. So it's a good place to start when you are hooping. This is a universal hooping, so you don't have to worry which way you put it, but you do have to turn it side to side in order for the design to stitch out right side up. So what we are doing now is making sure that the zippers are not inside the hoop. You don't want all that extra thickness. We want to go horizontally onto the body, trying to get it straight, pulling any excess out because we don't want it to start moving inside here. It looks pretty good. So the dot is fairly in the middle, and we push the hoop real hard and then push again just to make sure it is snug. So you don't want it to be too snug. The hoop may pop off if it is, and if it is too loose, it can fall off. We will keep an eye on that during the embroidery process. So we got that fairly close to the middle, or at least close enough to fit the flower in the ear, and it is big enough that the corners are long. A trick to turn a square into a circle is to keep folding it over like this. Take that point, put it in the middle, measure where you want to cut, cutting off the tip. I turn that square into a circle. We are now going to put the embroidery buddy into the machine. You want to make sure that the back flap is tangled down where the elephant is not caught up underneath. It is in good position. It's important also to clear off your table, making sure you have a clean space. And we are now going to lay my layer of Solvy on top. And the elephant is fluffy, so we want to make sure those stitches stay right on top. And now we are ready to start the stitching process. As the way your hoop arms go, you have to hoop it sideways. It doesn't matter so much on this side because that didn't have a direct top or bottom, but now that we are doing the text part, we want that to read the correct way. When we hoop, you typically like to get the bottom part of the hoop in first, like that, and then you want to start pulling any extra material that doesn't belong, and that's such as the zipper. And first, we don't want to crush the zipper, and number two, it's going to make it kind of thick. We will then push the hoop down like we did before, and the ear is pretty close to the center dot. So we are going to again put another piece of Solvy on top, and we then will do a trace. We will have to then stitch the other ear, and now the second ear is complete. So now you can remove the hoop, tear away the backing on the first part, and then after that is complete, you can cut away the backing using the scissors. Because it got letters between the A's, the E's, and all of them, you can use your tweezers for any backing that doesn't want to come off immediately. We are then going to use a spritz of water or some steam to get the smallest parts of the backing to disappear. You do want to be careful to make sure you are not pulling on the fuzz as well. Kids can also put little treasures inside the pockets of the ears. You then can steam or iron press to flatten out the ears, and then you want to release the clamp of the trunk. And there are also pink and blue versions of the elephants as well on our website. Thank you for watching. Feel free to check out our other videos and educational resources on our website at allstitch.com.